Drivers, clear the tarmac. It's takeoff time.
Media Vintage Sports Network presents Play-by-Play Podcast with Jordan Hughes.
Okay. Alrighty, welcome in NRL Picks and Preview. Back with you once again, part of the Play-by-Play Podcast on the Media Vintage Sports Network. Jordan Hughes with you alongside.
It's me, King Geordie.
Hello, mate.
My great man. It's great to see
Good to see you. Back again. Round 2 is upon us.
I love Thursdays. Thursdays potties with my guy. Fantastic to be back.
Speaking of fantastic, the tipping front last week, mate, was pretty successful. 7 of 8 for you overall and 6 of 8 for me. So
Outstanding start. You know, first that Warriors let us down, but then 7 out of 8. That's phenomenal.
you do very well, mate.
And you too.
Thank you. So let's keep it going. Let's start with your moment of the week, my friend.
Moment of the week, for me personally, I love performances. So the first 2 performances for me as an overall was Manly's performance against Cowboys and then the Melbourne Storm versus the Eels. Both teams were playing very clinical footy. That's round 1 footy and they're playing as if it's finals footy.
Yeah, clinical. For me in that same game, Melbourne Storm, Xavier Coates, his aerial attack, that try.
Insane.
That got me excited. That was good.
Yeah. That was, you've actually stolen my next who impressed me.
Well, let's go. Talk me about it.
Straight into it. Who impressed you? That was your question to me.
Yes.
Let me ask your question and then answer it.
Yep.
For me, the rookie from Roosters, the centre, Robert Toya.
Yes.
He had an outstanding footwork.
In what was a tough day at the office for the team, but
Yeah, he was there pretty much shining light for them, but he really impressed me. So how do you think he went?
I was impressed as well. But for me, I like Benny Hunt. First crack in the Broncos jersey. He looked sharp. He looked clinical. So
Yeah,
big
exactly
things for him.
how we pictured they would be for the Bronx. The other 2 for me were Xavier Coates and Pappenhausen. How good was Pappy?
Pat, he's looking real sharp. You should have threw that ball though to Munster on the inside.
No,
You blew
Munster
that.
would have been dirty.
It would have been filthy. Speaking of that, so what was your letdown moment of the week, my friend?
It had to go straight back down to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Weak defense. That was woeful defense. It was as if they weren't even playing footy. That really let me down. I don't know. How do you feel?
I was, for me, I was gutted for the Tigers a little bit. I feel like they blew that game. A game they should have won. It would have been a big moment at Leichhardt to win first up.
Yeah,
But
well,
they just couldn't do it.
That was a very impressive first performance. What actually let me down was the Knights' performance.
Yeah.
They should have
No points.
no points,
Yeah.
but I think they were just 1 gear off because they pretty much went over like 3 or 4 times with Bradman Best. So I think once they click that switch a little bit over, they'll be gelling so much better.
Lovely. There we go. Before we get into our picks and preview, bit of news, obviously, the big one dominating all the headlines. Dylan Brown, 10-year deal with the Newcastle Knights, $13 million. So I want to get your take on it. What do you think?
Me personally, or
Yeah.
you sign anyone for 10 years, like we've seen what happened with Tomalolo. He signed for 10 years and his football just went downhill. Personally, I don't think Dylan Brown's worth 10 years for 1.3 mil. He's pretty good. I'd sign him for 5 years, 1.3 mil, but 10 years is pretty ridiculous.
Long
And what will he be there? 38? Nah, just kidding. And you?
I guess in this market, if you can negotiate what you're worth, you know what I mean? If you can negotiate that sort of money, good on you. I'm not going to knock the guy for taking the coin.
Definitely fantastic for Dylan Brown.
Yeah.
I mean, Dylan Brown, weapon, do that. Your manager's good. Everything's good. But I think the Knights signing that is very bad play from Knights.
Yeah.
Like, he's not even that. Like, you've got Fletcher Sharp, who's coming through. He's an animal, man. He's only young.
Yeah.
And he's probably, getting paid like 300,000.
Not much,
I don't
yeah.
know. Yeah, so.
I reckon they've done it a lot to help Kalen Ponga. I think that because it seems like Ponga's been on his own for a while and then he's a bit of spark. That's why they've
Yeah,
sort of
very true.
find X
That's a
factor.
lot of money.
A lot of money.
That's great.
Anyway,
Great
so good on Dylan Brown securing the bag. Let's get into round 2 action. Starts tonight. Thursday night footy. The Knights, as we speak about them, $1.55 against the Dolphins, $2.45. The Lions 4.5 at home for the Knights.
We are back already.
Yes.
So I really like the Knights getting home now, so they get to play in front of a home crowd. So I'm looking forward to them. With the Dolphins, they're on the road again, so it's a tough matchup for the Dolphins. So they've got their players back. Plus, they've come home and the Cyclone, they're still trying to, get a grip on what just happened. So I think their footy's not going to be as clinical as it needs to be able to take over the Knights. If I'm looking at both the teams versus each other, they're very similar styles, but Knights have more flair for me.
Yeah. So obviously, as you said, Nick Reamer and Nichols are back in the lineup for the Dolphins. So Dolphins have lost their last 6 games away. Knights have covered the last 5 of 6 at home, and the last 3 Dolphins games have been 1-12. So I am expecting a pretty tight, close affair again. Where do you stand on the picks front?
Yeah, with me, I'm looking at the Knights just to get away with it, 1-12 as well. That's what I had in mind.
Yep.
And I'm looking at that left edge to be try scorers for the Knights. You've got Bradman Best. He almost went over a few times, or you've got Marzu outside of him. So I'll go Best, Knights 1-12. And if you're looking for a sneaky builder for Dolphins, it's that right edge with Isako.
There we go. So the last 2 between these 2 sides have been decided by 8 points or less. I like the Knights 1-12. I think it's going to be very close again.
Nice.
That number's 4.5. The Dolphins plus that points, maybe not enough. So I'll just stick with the Knights 1-12. Fido scored a try in his last 2 versus Newcastle. Back him for a try.
Solid.
And Fletcher Sharp scored a try in his last 4 or 5.
Oh, let's go. I'm a fan of Fletcher Sharp.
He might be
right now.
fired up too because now his Polly's on the line potentially. He might be due for a big game.
Yeah, hopefully he turns it around. Hopefully he stays in the team too. I like him. He's
Yeah.
a young gun and he's fast.
Yep, absolutely. There we go. There's Thursday night footy in the books. And let's go over to New Zealand now. The Warriors, $3.05. Manly, $1.38. The Lions, 8.5. Back home with my people, Riggs.
Geordie's going home, everyone. Look, the Warriors, shocking performance in Las Vegas.
Yep.
They reverted back to their old habits, and it was just such a letdown for me and everyone frying me. Yeah, come on. So, Warriors back home. I still need to see more. So, they're 2 halves. They're very similar. Chanel, Harris, Tavita, and Metcalf. If I was them, I'd try sneak Tamara Martin in just to mix up because
Yep.
they're 2 running halves.
He's in the extended squad this week, I saw, so he might come in. We'll see.
Yeah, so there's no other changes. So we'll give them a run at home, but we're looking at Manly. And one thing I can tell you, I'm not a Tommy Turbo fan, but for this game,
Yes, you are. What do you mean?
All right,
You love
yes,
Tommy
I am.
Turbo.
I love Tommy Turbo, and do you know what? Turbo is when he plays the Warriors, he is lightning. I know that one time he scored maybe 4 or 5 tries, and I don't know if that was 20s or cup, but Turbo turns up against the Warriors. I'm telling you.
You reckon due for a big performance?
Big performance. So I'm looking at Tommy Turbo and those 2 wingers. It's either Saab and Hapawadi getting meat pie this week.
Lovely. So Manly have covered the last 6 versus New Zealand. Last 6 have gone over as well for Manly. So I do expect plenty of points. Saab has scored a try in his last 5 versus the Warriors.
Oh, beauty.
Of course, maybe it was a 22-all draw last time these 2 sides met in New Zealand last year.
Oh, wow.
It's a close affair. So I actually go the Warriors plus the 8.5, and I'm tempted to put something on the money line here to back them to win at home. Watch them let me down, but I'll for the sake of the argument, I'll get the Warriors win here. They get it back at home in front of their people, in front of my people. Saab for a try, and I'll take the over as well.
Warriors against my Manly.
Yeah.
Well, look, for me, I reckon Tommy Turbo's turning up Manly and plus 30 points for Manly. Manly going to put on quite a few points.
All right, let's see how it pans out. Let's go to the Panthers at $1.06. The Roosters, $9.25. The Lions, 21.5 against the Panthers. They've won the last 10 versus the Roosters. They've covered the last 7 of 8. This should be pretty ugly.
Fantastic. Look, Penrith, welcome home. Thank you for the performance in Las Vegas. Yeah. I love that. I love their performance. When they revert back to their normal habits, they're just hard-working, strong defense, and they're just clinical. Cleary is the man. Look at Brian Toho. He's back, so look for those meters coming back. And their team is just world-class all over. Isaiah Yeo, Martin, Sorensen. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. The Roosters have lost their last 3 as an underdog by 13 plus. Victor Radley's gone as well. Before you give me your picks, try scorers, Totler scored his last 4 home games versus the Roosters, and Dylan Tupou has scored a try in his last 6 away games as well, if you like the winger for the Roosters.
Yeah, I love that. Unfortunately for me, the Roosters look very clunky last week, and they're still trying to gel, and now you've lost Radley, and their bench is looking very rookie for me, so I just think that Panthers going to do a number on them. If I'm looking, I'm going to go with Penrith Panthers for 13 plus.
That number, the 21.5 number, it's a lot of points. Where would you lean on that? Would you lay it with them?
Difficult question.
No,
whoever made that line, you've done well.
That's what I'm asking. Clean. People to know, mate. Where do you lean?
No, you tell me first.
I'm going to lean it. I'm going to lay it and look away. Back the Panthers by a lot.
Yeah, I'll back you to it.
I reckon at home, first home game, Roosters look nowhere.
At home, Roosters. Yeah, they're still finding difficulty with Sandon Smith and Chad Townsend.
Yeah, tough. So for me, go Panthers minus the points. Panthers 13 plus. Total for a try, maybe even a sneaky double as well.
Oh, like that.
Let's go to the Dragons and the Rabbitohs. $1.46 the Dragons, $2.65 the Bunnies. The Lions 6.5. Both sides that are. Well, the Rabbitohs won in round 1. Dragons looking for their first win.
Yeah, this is a good matchup. Both of these two have very rival clubs, and they've been swapping players.
Yeah.
Like a lot of players
True.
are on the Dragons and Rabbitohs. They've just switched players. So Dragons had a tough round 1, and they were able to show some spirit in the last few minutes. And Rabbitohs, they really turned up with Cody Walker.
Yeah.
So I was impressed. I was actually very impressed with the Rabbits. And do you know who I was really impressed with? Humphreys, the Rabbitohs
Mate,
half.
how's the fucking pipes on him?
His arms, his hair,
Bro.
his composure.
Mate, weapon.
He's a rookie.
He made your arms look fucking small. And that's saying something.
I'm leaving this podcast and I'll be going to the gym. I'll be back in 4 months. No, he did have some snakes on him. What good size. I love them.
Yep. So the Dragons have covered the last 5 versus the Bunnies. Before we go to you, Matt, I'm going to go the Dragons to win here. I like the Dragons to get their first win of the season. They'll be better for the run last week. I'll take the minus to 6.5. It's been 14 or less when these two have met in the last 2 games. And also like Valentine Holmes for a try.
Valentine Holmes is the danger weapon. So if you're looking at Dragons and you're putting on a punt, most footy play right to left. So you've got Gutho at the back. He's their playmaker.
Yep.
And you've got Valentine Holmes. He just creates magic. So like I said as well, that winger outside him, it's Tolopu. He scored 3 tries last week. So I think Tolopu's going to score if they're going to score. For me, it comes down to their playmakers. I just think Cody Walker and Humphreys are going to be better than Flanagan and Ilias.
Okay. Oh, Ilias
So-
against his former club too.
Ilias,
Bunnies?
yep. And also Damien Cook has moved from Rabbits to St. George. So there's a lot of big names, even Jaden Sewer.
Yep.
So they're all ex-players there and there. So I'm leaning on those halves, and I just had to back the Rabbitohs after that first week.
Okay. There we
So
go.
I'm still looking for a 1 to 12. But look, I'd leave this out because they easily go the other way.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. There we go. Me and Riggs are split on that one. Let's go up north now. The Cowboys $3.10. The Sharkies $1.36. The Lions $8.5. The Sharks have won the last 12 or 14 versus the Cowboys. The Cowboys are absolutely dreadful in round 1. What do we think here?
As expected, man. Welcome back the Sharks. I love their performance in round 1 against Penrith.
Yep.
They were actually phenomenal. I love Aiden Fanua. He adds so much punch to their team, and their bench is just stacked with size. Hazelton, Talakai, they're just huge. So I really am enjoying the Sharks at the moment. And the Cowboys,
Yeah,
what
tough.
are we up to?
Yeah, I know it's a tough one. The only thing that works in their favour, they are back at home. There'll be a big crowd. It'll be hot up there. Obviously the Sharks have come back from Las Vegas, but a jet lag maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it's gonna be a tough outing. 4 or 5 away games have gone over the total points for the Sharks. I love the over here. I think plenty of tries.
Yep.
What are you gonna go picks wise?
Well, first of all, before we go there, I just want to shout out to Cowboys back rower Kai O'Donnell, a former teammate of mine back at Burleigh. He's
we
a
go.
legend of a guy. He was playing overseas, killing it over there,
Yep.
and he's
back.
Yeah, he's back here, and he's starting second row. So
Good on him.
hopefully he has a great game. He's in great form, and he has some pipes on him too.
There we go.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going with the Sharks. The Sharks for me, Sharks to score over 20 points. And if you're looking for a sneaky try, look for Aiden Fanua. He scored last week, and
Yep.
look, he's up against the Cowboys. Back end of the game, he's coming through.
Lovely. Try scorers for me, I like Murray Tarlungi and Stone Street, the wingers for both of those sides. I'm going to go Cowboys plus the 8.5 here. I reckon they do enough to keep within the number, but I will go money line for the Sharkies to just hold on. Probably 1 to 12. I think actually would be close.
Oh, tough call.
We'll see.
Tough call. I'm going to be going with the -8 the other way.
Okay.
Sharks with the -8.
Yep, lovely. Let's go now to Canberra. Raiders $4.25. The Broncos $1.22. The Lions 12.5. Both sides who had victories in round 1. The Raiders have won their last 4 as the underdog. As we've both seen, both of these sides look very clinical in round 1.
Yeah, well, Raiders shocked me. They were very young, energetic, and just keen to play footy.
Yep.
Even on their defense, they were tough defending.
They were humming.
So I loved the Raiders' performance, but for me with the Broncos, I'm a big fan of the Broncos right now. Ben Hunt and Reynolds controlling that team just open it up for dudes like Walsh, Mariner to get the tries, Cobbo. But also, I like the combo of Payne, Haas, and Carrigan up front. That is so strong.
Lovely. I actually reckon the Raiders will fancy themselves here. I reckon they'll be confident to take it to the Bronx. Broncos have failed to cover the last 6 following a win. 10 or 11 Canberra games have gone under the total points. I do think the Broncos are too good, but I think it'll be close on what people think. I'll take the under as well.
What's the under?
I think it's 42.5.
Solid.
So yeah, what do you reckon?
I'm a big fan. I don't think it's going to be a blowout as well. I actually rate the Raiders team right now. I'm leaning on the Bronx, and if I was to add a bit of roughy, it'd be 1 to 12.
Yep. That number's 12.5. Wouldn't mind taking the Raiders plus the points there, but Broncos to win in a close one for
Definitely
me.
healthy.
Absolutely. Let's go now. Eels and the Tigers, two of the, I guess, the struggling teams you'd say of the last recent years. 225 the Eels. Tigers a favourite, which is first time in a long time. $1.65. The Lions 3.5 against the Eels.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the Eels. They were pretty not good in the first game. I think they've got to find their combos. Still no Moses. And still that young fullback. I just think they've got to find their way. They've got to build, just start gelling better together. With the Tigers, I'm a 10 out of 10 for impressed last week. I like Luai overall, but look who's back. We got Api Karos out and Buller. So they were strong without those players. So with Coruscant's leadership, Turunuva's back on the wing. Him and Skeleton with those return meters. I am so excited for that.
Skeleton or Skeleton?
Skeleton.
Okay.
But I'm excited for those guys.
I like it. The Eels have won the last 10 of 12 versus the Tigers. Last time they met, it was that big 60-26. Remember, last year was the absolute shellacking.
Was that to Eels?
Yep.
What did Moses get? Like a triple, probably.
Probably. Let's go here. What do you reckon? Where do you lean?
I'm leaning. Look, could be a heart. Look what I got here. Could be a heart wrencher. I feel like I'll be disappointed in the end.
Either way.
But in saying that, I'm back in the Tigers 1-12, but I feel like my heart's going to be wrenched as the Tigers do, and I don't want them to blow it. But let's fingers crossed. Coruscant, Luai, Buller, Turunuva. Yee-hoo!
Yeah, I'm going to join you and back Benji and the boys.
Yeah.
Tigers get their first win of the season. 1-12 is where I lean on that one as well. Let's go to the final game of round 2, Regan. It is the Bulldogs $1.36 against the Gold Coast Titans. Their first crack in 2025. $3.10. The Lions 8.5.
$3.10 for Titans.
Yes, sir.
Wow. I don't think it should be like that. Look, I was really impressed with the Bulldogs. Very standard Bulldogs type footy. Very tough, very gritty, and great performance in round 1.
Yep.
I really like Crichton. I'm a big fan of Crichton. You know that.
Yep.
It's just adding that leadership and that professionalism to them because usually they're just a boring team. So I like Tracy. I like Crichton. And we're looking at the Titans. I'm so excited to see Brumo, Campbell, and Keno all linking
It's
up.
a team of fullbacks.
Yeah, and you know what? Let's hope all their young energy bounces off each other and they're just firing.
Lovely. Tino Fatmasilva Ali is back as well, which will begin for the Titans. What do we think here, my friend?
Look, I think this one's going to be Bulldogs in a close one. It's going to be very hard for Titans to go down and beat them. They do have the potential to do it. I just think I like the Bulldogs' grittiness.
Yep.
I think it's going to be a tight one, 1-12. But if I'm looking for try scorers, left edge Marcelo Montoya for Bulldogs, and I'm looking at Lofi Khan Piera.
Yep.
He's a try scorer machine, and he's my guy.
He's the man, isn't he? He always gets a 4-pointer. So the Gold Coast have lost their last 6 in Sydney. The last 7 away games have gone under the total points. So these two sides have played each other 24 times in history.
Wow.
They're split at 12 each at the moment.
There you go.
So-
We've nailed it right in the
So we're
money.
going to find out who is going to be top dog
13th.
on the weekend. I'm going to go the Bulldogs. Just.
Yeah. Oh, it's a surprise.
I know.
I
but-
thought you'd back the Titans.
well, I'm going to wait. If they let me down in round 2, I'll be just
Like,
gutted.
let's watch them first. Let's see
I
how
was
they
going to see
go.
what they do. So I'm going to go Bulldogs 1-12. I do hope they can turn it on. I'll go Brimson for a try to get things moving. for
I
Titans.
like that, Brimso.
He's a weapon. There we go. That's NRL round 2 in the books. Let's go now to the Kings' best bet of the week.
King's best bet for me. I've got a 3-legger for you. This is Manly to win, Penrith Panthers to win, and the Sharks to win. That's a $1.91 odds. You add the booster, that's
okay.
$1.97. So
Yep.
that's a solid, safe bet. That's what I'd be leaning on as my massive one.
Yeah, right.
Do you want to hear some more?
Yeah, I do.
If you want extra
I
juice,
think the punters want extra juice.
okay, here we go. Extra juice. Manly 13 plus. We're looking at Tommy Turbo to score, Hopper Whitey to score in the game, and Saab. We go back to Penrith winning by minus 9.5. The Sharks to win their game, and then the Broncos to win. We're looking at $14.80
There we
odds.
go. Now we're cooking.
$14.80. You put 100 on that, you've got 1,400. Don't irresponsible gamble.
There you go.
Gamble responsibly.
Well said.
I like that.
That's good, mate. Good. Add that
Thank
in.
you, brother.
Good. Add that in. There we go. There's King's best bet of the week. Couple there for you. Want to be safe? Want to be risky? The choice is yours. So there we go. NRL round 2 in the books. Picks and preview locked in. Plenty of good bets there for you. Riggs, final thoughts for the people.
Yeah, final thoughts after that comment earlier. I'm going to be training the pipes.
Yep.
3 hours of straight arm day, straight from here.
Okay, good.
I'm angry. We're going to go get some protein.
Yep.
Let's get it done. And you, final thoughts.
No, you've taken it away as always.
Next time, let's put some aircon on.
You've been hot,
I'm
mate.
heating up.
We're getting fired
I'm
up.
heating up.
We're getting fired up. All right. There we go. Enjoy your weekend of footy. We'll see you next week for more of the same. Riggs,
This is Media Vintage. That's Geordie right there. That's me, the king. We out.
see you next week.